Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be having a look at a Fog of War puzzle, one of my favourite innovations in the world of Sudoku. It's called Unexpected Places. It's by Nurator, and this has been recommended to us a lot. Apparently it is, well, there's a few things to mention. Firstly, it's an incredibly simple rule set, because apart from the fog, if you've never seen Sudoku fog before, the idea is, say we could deduce this digit, and we placed it in the grid, it would clear the fog from all the surrounding cells. So you sort of gradually reveal the logic of the puzzle. But apart from the fog, it's a killer Sudoku. That's it, which is remarkable. It's got something like a 97% approval rating on Logic Masters and a wealth of really cool comments. There was something else I was meant to mention about it, and that's slipping my mind. But oh yeah, don't guess. Yeah, so some people think that the way to solve Fog of War Sudoku is to say go to this square and type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One of those will be correct and it will clear the fog. That is not the intention of these puzzles. The idea is that you use what the constructor has provided as sort of gaps in the mist, and we should be able to deduce just from those gaps where the next digit can be logically placed, and we work our way through the puzzle logically. Anyway, I will read you the rules of this one in a moment or two's time. There's a few things I wanted to mention before we kick off. Oh yes, we're streaming tomorrow night. I finally managed to get Mark to commit to a day. We're going to have, oh my goodness, my screen is in totally the wrong place. We're going to be having a look at Braid again. So, love to have your company for that. 10 PM UK time tomorrow. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. Next, we are closing in slowly. Not as fast as Mr. Beast would, but slowly on 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please help us. If you're not subscribed and you do enjoy the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. It helps to teach the algorithm that this little corner of the internet is worthy of its attention. And we are going to be releasing a very special free Sudoku pack of some wonderful puzzles if we ever get there. Next, over on Patreon, we have Blobz's Lord of the Rings themed Sudoku hunt. The comments have been just fabulous on this. I mean, we knew they would be, but it's just delightful when you get messages in saying, you know, this is my favourite thing that I've ever done in the world of Sudoku. So Blobz has done an incredible job. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he got Ted Nasmith, that's one of the world's best Tolkien authors, to agree to put his artwork into this hunt as well. It makes the whole thing just look so beautiful. The puzzles are great, not too difficult either, so if you are relatively new to variant Sudoku, you should be able to get through it in time to enter the competition, which closes on the 20th of this month. That's over on Patreon now. What else? Birthdays. I have got some birthdays and other announcements, so let's move on to those. We'll start with Lara. Lara, who's turned 22 today, and I know this because your boyfriend George, Lara, I think over there in Leeds, the two of you are, wrote us the most delightful email. I know the two of you met at university when you were studying music, and in between a lot of other things, which I could read out, but it would take a long time. I just wanted to say that George clearly loves you very much, and he thinks you are insanely talented as well. So Lara, I hope you have a great birthday today. Thank you for watching the channel, and I hope you get some chocolate cake. Next, congrats to Amy down there in New Zealand. Amy is a regular correspondent and solved her first cryptic crossword from following the channel and looking at our masterclasses, which appear every Friday. So Amy, well done. I will read the poem you sent at the end of this video. I don't know if it's one of yours or if it's I know that you are something of a poetry connoisseur, but anyway, I will read it at the end of the video. Next, Gautam, you've turned 8 today, I believe, over there in India. And I know this because, oh, my phone's ringing. It's only Mark. We'll let that ring. Your great uncle Sampath wrote to us, and your great uncle thinks that you might be very good at Sudoku and puzzles generally, and maths. If he can get you interested.
So Gautam, I hope that this might get you interested a little bit. Check this out. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. How eight's probably a bit young, but maybe you could get a couple of digits in this one, and it might get you hooked on Sudoku, which would be a lovely thing. Next, Tay. Tay, you've turned 22 today. I think you're over in Wisconsin today. Your best friend Elena wrote to us. And I know that you're at college studying humanities, and you're celebrating today in Wisconsin with your 3 dogs, Scruffy, Iggy, and Monkey. All names I think I've been called at some point. Anyway, Tay, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today. Many happy returns. And then finally, a shout out, not for a birthday, but for Loriicious, who tweeted, as a fan of the channel, they've made, look at this, Phistomefel Fan Art. Isn't this incredible? I'm going to turn you into a Sudoku puzzle. Absolutely. I am so impressed whenever anybody sends us anything like this. I can't draw. I would love to be able to. So people who can make these things, create them on paper, I am incredibly envious of. So Loriicious, thank you for sending that over to us. Now, let's have a look at Unexpected Places by Nurator. I will read you the rules, which won't take long. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply, which means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Digits in cages cannot repeat, and their digits sum to the total given in the leftmost cell of its top row. So that seems like it's been stated in the rules for... So let's say that was a cage in this puzzle. Where would you find the cage total? Well, you go to the top row, which is these 2 squares, and the leftmost cell is that one. So that's where we would expect to see the total. The grid is covered by fog. Maverick's going to fly past. That hasn't taken long. Putting in correct digits will lift the fog and reveal more clues. No guessing is required. Do have a go. Fog of War Sudoku is an absolute delight, trust me. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I think there are some giveaways here, because a 3 cage, the cage clearly goes into this square, so how can we make at least 2 digits in Sudoku add up to 3? Well, they must be a 1-2 pair, and that must be the limit of the cage as well. I mean, that 30 cage, it goes into these 2 squares. And again, what's the absolute maximum? I can get 4 different Sudoku digits to add up to. Well, that's going to be 6, 7, 8, and 9. Right. Okay. So straight away, there's got to be a 1-2 pair by Sudoku. I mean, Nurator, this is an outrage. It's only been... I mean, I've literally only just started the puzzle. And I've already had to do Sudoku. But look, this is... I can see what this is doing. Because now these 2 squares, what's the minimum we could put into these 2 squares if they can't be 1 or 2? Well, the minimum they could be is 3 and 4, which is what they must be to add up to 7. Now, the only slightly odd thing about this... Oh no, I see. Yeah, this has become a naked single. I was thinking, how are we ever going to get digits? But actually, 3 and 4 in box 9 now are hypothecated into those 2 squares, which means this square is a naked single 5. And we got to clear the fog, and we've revealed all sorts of shenanigans there. Right. Right. First thing I'm thinking about here, actually, is this cage is interesting because of its geometry. What I mean by that is, you can see this cage goes into this square, so it's at least those 3 squares, isn't it? But it can't be more squares than that, because of the grid furniture that we can see. It can't go to this square, because there wouldn't need to be this caged wall on the right hand side of this cage if this square was in the cage. And it can't go there, can it? Because we can see the total. And if this square was in the orange cage, this would be the top leftmost cell, and it should have 18 in it, not this one. So I think what we're being told is that this cage is exactly of this dimension. Now, the problem there, Well, I'm just going to still put these in. These are massive digits, not absolutely massive, but if that's a 3, these add up to 15. If this is a 4, which is the most it could be, these add up to 14. So these digits have to be selected from 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, because otherwise they couldn't add up to 14 or 15, which is what they're going to have to add up to. Right. Okay, so the next thing I'm seeing is if we look at this column and we ask what these cells are, and the answer to that is 6, 7s, 8s and 9s. Now that's that's beautiful. Right. So now let's look at this collection of digits, because that is a quintuple of 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And next we ask, where is the 5 in that quintuple? Well, it must be here. And if the 5 is here, this can't be a 3, because these two squares would then need to add up to 15, and they'd have to be a 5 and a 10, and that won't work. So we get another digit, I think. Yes, that's therefore a 3. These have to be a 5, 9 pair. It's the only way we can make them add up to 14. So this is going to get us another digit now, because these being 6, 7, 8 means we get this one, and we're getting all sorts of revelations going on. These squares have to be 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm actually going to pencil mark them because we can do some tidying up as a result of these. Right. I suspect we're going to have to use a secret next. Okay, let's talk about a secret of Sudoku. Now, it's something I share with only my very favourite people, but if you're watching this video, you know you're one of those people. And the secret is that if you add up all of the different Sudoku numbers together, and the numbers 1 to 9, once each, you get 45. Now let's think about that in the context of this clue, which is a 45 clue, and noting the fact that in a killer Sudoku cage you cannot repeat a digit. So that's telling us that this 45 cage must have all of the Sudoku digits, all 9 digits. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We know that those cells are all in the cage just from the grid furniture. So this is the extent of this 45 cage. Now, what does that mean? And I'm afraid I don't know yet. Let me think about this. Right, I've got something. Row 7. I can see those digits are all high. So now if we look at the green cage, look at the cells that are in the green cage, this one, this one, this one, and this one form a quadruple on the high digits. So they have to be a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple within the green cage, and the 9 in that quadruple is there. So there is definitely a 9 in one of those. These definitely aren't 9. So these squares are the other digits. I'm sure that's doing something, but I can't see what. That's bizarre. I've got no clue. That's not 5. Golly, this is very clever, actually. What's going on? Hang on. I've got nothing. Well, those 2 digits have to appear in the green cage, so they are the same as those 2 digits. That digit must be the same as one of those 2 digits. Can't quite see it. 5 in the green cage is in one of 2 places. Okay, what is it? I'm so sorry. This is going to be obvious, isn't it? And I'm just not seeing it. What could it be? I mean, it can't be these cages up here, can it? Is there something I'm meant to be discerning from that? I don't know. Oh, I actually really respect it, but when constructors do this, because I think it must be a very difficult thing to make a sort of a fog puzzle of this nature stand up to scrutiny. But Nurator has done something here, and I can't see it. Okay, let me think. It's got to be something to do with the geometry. Maybe that digit doesn't go there, so it goes in one of those squares. It goes in one of those squares. That's not helpful, is it? At least I don't think it is. Golly gosh, what's going on? Maybe it is up here. I mean, those three are in a cage together. But I don't know. Well, I suppose it doesn't go. This is definitely a different cage to this. That I can see. But I don't know what I'm meant to do with that knowledge. No, I'm missing something very fundamental. What is it? Okay. It's going to be something to do with... I must... What's going on? I feel like I'm going mad. I mean, the thing about a fog of war puzzle is that there is no excuse. You can only look at the cells that are exposed. I don't know. Do I somehow know which of these is a 9? I don't think I do. If that's a 9, 9 is over there, 9 is up there. That seems absolutely fine. If that's a 9, then I think it's even more flexible. Is it the fact those two squares? That square is the same as one of these three. Same as one of these three. Or maybe I've not done some Sudoku. That's very possible for me, isn't it? Oh. No. Careful. No, I think what I was about to say is not true, so I'm not saying it. Oh, I've got it. That's very clever. Okay, I don't know how long that's taken me. That's embarrassing, actually, but it's fair and it's beautiful. That's very clever. Right. So it's which one of these is 5. But that's not the way you have to ask the question. The way you have to ask the question is, can this be 1, 2, 3, or 4? Ah, that's very clever. That's made me look stupid in front of a lot of people. But hats off. You got me. That's very clever. Because if this is 1, the point is you can't put a 1 in this box anymore, because it's ruled out from all of those squares. So that has to be 5. And it's that simple. Oh, well, simple in inverted commas. It's simple when you see it. So 5 lives over here. Oh, okay, so my purple cage now that's going off a wandering, isn't it? That's doing some things. Right, so 9 can't repeat in purple, so 9 is in one of those two squares. Is that useful? Maybe. I don't know, actually. No, it's still being recalcitrant. Let's try. What's it going to be then? It's going to be something to do with... This cage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7 definitely, but it could carry on. Or it could carry on up there. Right, so what actually have we got out? We got this 5, which was useful, but it didn't really bust the puzzle open, did it? So this digit is very, very marginally interesting, in the sense that we could ask a question, where does that digit, which is not 9, is it? Where does that digit, let's give it a little blue flash, go in this box? It doesn't go in its own column, and it doesn't repeat in its own thing. So these squares are a blue 9. They're a blue 9 pair. Now, is that in any way helpful? I don't know. It might be. 9 is in one of those 4 cells in box 2. And no, I've got nothing. Wow. So that digit, which can't go in any of those squares. Okay, so this digit is one of these squares by Sudoku. So that's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Because, again, it can't repeat in purple, and it's not allowed to be the blue or the 9. So that digit must go here, which means it... Oh, I suppose it goes in one of those two. Maybe I'll give this one a colour as well. Let's be bold. So that lives in one of those. And then it lives down here. Okay, that's great. But I don't think it's good enough, is it? Right. I like this in a perverse sort of way, because it's a smart puzzle, and it feels like a puzzle where you have to ask exactly the right question to make progress. But once you get the question, once you spot the question, it's like, that was a completely reasonable question. I should have asked that question earlier. Oh, look, 5, 9, so that's a 9. There we go. Right, so that's going to be good. Because now these two squares are the same, and I can actually... Well, I can remove I can make this fully blue. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's interesting. Right, look at this square. This square is part of a 7-cell cage that sums to 42. Now, if it was a 9-cell cage, we've already looked at one of those, it would sum to 45. So it's missing 2 digits that sum to the difference between 45 and 42. So it's missing digits that sum to 3. So it's missing a 1 and a 2. So this digit is in one of those, and then it says red makes a reappearance down here in the grid. And there's some other cage that's emerged in the fog here that's going... Well, you see, we don't know, do we? That this yellow cage could become part of this cage. It's possible if it did that. I'm just not sure that we can see that at this point. Right. Okay, but can we go... Right, this cage does not have 1s and 2s in it. We know that. But we also know this digit and this digit are the same. So if I was to put a 1 or a 2 into this cell, then we know that that would be a 1 or a 2, thereby breaking the rules that apply to this cage. So where do we put 1 and 2 in this box? And the answer, they must go in those squares, mustn't they? And now this square, which I know is in these squares, is a 5. This is absolutely brilliant. Now that unfortunately doesn't. Oh, it's revealed something up. Oh no, okay, that has revealed something, because this cage now, which is at least of this geometry, that's another 7-cell cage. Well, although it could be. Well, I was going to say. There's something going on with that cage. I haven't quite figured it out in my brain, but I can see there's something going on with it. I think it's to do with the 5. But let's come back to that in a moment. Let me just think about. Do I know anything else about this box? I know those squares are not 9, so I know 9 is in one of these cells, because we can't repeat 9 within the yellow cage. Okay, here is a point that I think is probably intended. That square is not yellow. And that's quite a beautiful point in a way, because let's look at this cage. This cage is sort of basic arithmetic. It's a 7-cell cage at the moment. It might grow a bit bigger, but it can't be 2 cells bigger. Because if it was 2 cells bigger, it would have 9 cells in it. It would have to contain all the different Sudoku digits, and this clue should be a 45. So it's missing digits. It's missing a digit or digits that sum up to 5, the difference between 45 and 40. Now, so if this digit was yellow, actually, no. Maybe I'm just talking nonsense. Actually, if that digit's yellow, then what we're saying is this is an 8-cell cage. That it is missing a 5, so that's fine. I'm confusing myself. I was thinking this 5 couldn't go in the cage, but it doesnn't need to go in the cage. Hang on. So that's the point. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Right. So, the point is that if this cage stopped at being of size 7, then it's missing 2 digits that sum to 5, which means it has to have a 5 in it. Where are we putting the 5 in it? You can't put a 5 in it. So it has to grow. And if it grows here, then it doesn't need a 5 in it. In fact, it would expressly not need a 5 in it. But we know it grows. But if it grows, it is missing a 5. Sorry, I'm being slow here because I can't decide where I want it to grow. I know it doesn't have 5 in it. I know it can't grow here because then that cell would contain its cage total and this cell contains its cage total. So, although I know it grows, it could grow. It grows into one of those 2 cells. But it doesn't contain a 5. So the most use we're going to get out of it is if it grows here, because that would just delete 5 from that cell, but that doesn't feel very potent, does it? Oh, hang on. If that's a 1-2 pair, that's a 3. There we go. There's some more stuff we can do over here. To say that's underwhelming would be litotes. Oh dear. Right. So I see that doesn't really do anything. 9 is still in one of these squares. Oh, maybe this 12 cage is actually where we're meant to look next, because this domino, let's just highlight that in a colour. This domino here doesn't contain 1 or 2, so the minimum sum of these squares is 3, 4, which would add up to 7 already. So if that was a 5, we would be done with 3, 4, 5. So, okay, so that actually doesn't look like it's doing very much. Sorry, I'm not seeing the next step again. Oh, 9, I can do that. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's to do with 9s. Where's 9 in this row? 9 can't go in this 12 cage, because the other digit, if we put 9 there, the other digit that would be with it is at least a 3, and that's going to make this domino already add up to 12 without including this digit, which can't be a 0. So we're going to get another digit. We get a 9 here, so this isn't a 9. Now, oh, okay, so we have revealed... Right, we've revealed the whole of a 12 cage. Okay, that's interesting. There are 2 ways of making 4 different Sudoku numbers add up to 12, and both of them contain a 1 and a 2. So this is a 1-2 pair. And the other digits are either going to... They then have to add up to 9, and they're either 4, 5 or 3, 6. Well, they must therefore be 3, 6 in this instance, because the 5 is in one of these squares. So this is a 3, 6 pair. This is not a 6. Oh, look, this funny cage here has dipped down into... Oh, that's great, because this can't be a 5, neither can this be a 5, so this is a 5. We get another digit. What a wonderful puzzle, isn't it? Okay, so that might as well fill that in with yellow. So this cage doesn't contain a 5, that's all we're going to get from that, I think. It contains every other digit. Right, so it contains the blue digit, which is not a 5, and therefore must be in the yellow cage, which looks like a sort of, I don't know, an aardvark. So the blue digit is there. So the blue digit is 7 or 8, maybe. Is that right by Sudoku? I mean, the blue digit has to be in one of these squares. Now, the blue digit is not a 1 or a 2, because we've got a 1-2 pair looking at this square. So it is that digit, which is a 7 or an 8. So we can fill in 7 or 8 into these squares. Now, has that done anything? Maybe not. Oh. Yes, I'm going to claim it has. It might get me that digit, because now, look at this box. What are the digits I've not pencil marked? I think they are 4, 7 and 8, and that means I've got a 4, 7, 8 triple here, which means that square is a 6. Oh, no fog clear, but that might be because I've already cleared the fog. Yeah, maybe, I'm not sure. Slightly concerning. But if that's... This digit's now known, isn't it? That has to be a 3 by Sudoku. Okay, that's good. Didn't really do anything, but it feels like a small triumph. I see, look. The blue digit definitely has to appear somewhere in the green cage, because the green cage contains everything. So it goes exactly there, and that's going to give me a 9 here. This is lovely. It's very, very clever, this. 9. Oh, no, it didn't do anything. But it gave... Oh, it might do something up there. Yes. Yes. Because that's a 3-cell cage with a 9 in it. So they've got to be a 1-3 pair. That's going to do some work. 3, 4. Another cage is emerging. Right. That cage is not a domino. Because if it was a domino, it would be a 9-7 pair. So it goes like that through the fog. Which means... Well, what does that mean? It means that... 6... Right, it means these squares add up to 13. That's not going to be great. I'm afraid. Yeah, so what I'm using there is the secret. The secret is that that whole box will sum to 45. These sum to 16. These sum to 16. That's 32. So these sum to 13. But I don't think that's going to be helpful. I'm thinking about it, but I don't think it is. Is there something I'm meant to be able to deduce from that? 3 has to be in one of these squares. But yeah, I put 9 in. I meant to put 3 in by Sudoku. But 3 has to make an appearance in the aardvark, doesn't it? Because the aardvark's only missing 5. So if 3 can't go in those cells, and it can't, 3 must be in this domino, so it's not there. Right, so 3 is in one of those 2 squares in column 1, because that's the only places it seems to be able to go. There's a small chance of a 3 in the corner. Well, yeah, okay, but 1 has to appear in the aardvark. So sorry, that's just obvious. That's a 1-3 pair. Right, and there's a 1-2 pair here. So this is 3, this is 1, this is 2, this is 1. This is 1, this is 2. This is 2, this is 1. Right, that is a breakthrough. We can't deny it. That's a 3-5 pair at the bottom of column 4. This puzzle has made me feel very, very daft, but I have enjoyed it. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Now these have got, this is a 6 by Sudoku. So 4 is in this domino. It's 4 7s and 8s, isn't it? In the middle box. Which probably I can do something with, but I'm not quite seeing how to do that. Do I know whether that is... I know that's blue, because that digit has to appear. Blue has to appear in the green cage. Okay, and there's a 31 cage that started here, but that's going to have to be... Well... Okay, this cage is going to go at least to here. Oh, I see, that's disambiguating this. Right. The point is that let's imagine this cage stopped there. So it only took those squares. Let's use... I'll have to reuse purple again. Now, if that was the case, the maximum those squares could be would be 9, 8, 7, 6, which they actually can't be. But let's imagine they could be. They'd only add up to 30. So actually, it has to go there as well. And there's a 3 in this 31 cage, so that square can't be another 3. It would repeat. So that's... Oh, I see what that's doing. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. And now we actually get the shape of the purple cage. Let's get rid of red now. I don't think red is doing us any favours. Let's get rid of that. So the 31 cage has now got a 3 and a 5 in it, and is 6 cells large. Right, so it is missing 3 digits that sum to 14. Now, are there any digits it definitely doesn't have in it? Not so as I can see. Bother. Okay, so probably we have to do more Sudoku. Let's try and do more Sudoku. What could we do Sudoku-wise at this point? We had a flurry of activity with 1s and 2s. Did I use all of those activities to the max? Possibly not. Do I? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no. That's not true what I was about to say. I was going to say where's 2 in this box, but I think it's got 2 possible positions. Yeah, okay. I suppose what we can say is that this is a 1... Oh, I see, it's a 1-2 pair. And it's sort of... So there's a deadly pattern here, but it's being broken up by this cage. Yeah, so 1 of 1 and 2 doesn't appear in this cage. Because let's say this was a 1, that would be a 1, and then you couldn't put 1 in any of those squares, and the logic reverses if we use 2 in the top position on the left. So either 2 or 1 don't appear in this cage, and the digits that don't appear in it in total sum to 14. So if there was no 2 in it, the other 2 digits would add up to 12, but we can see that there is 3 and there is 5 in there, so the only other digits that could be missing would be 4 and 8. And that would mean what? That would mean there would be a 4 in one of these squares. That would be a 4. Might be possible. And if 1 was missing, the other digits would have to add up to 13 that weren't in it. So 8 would then be in it, because 5 is in it, and it would be missing either 4, 9 or 6, 7. Can't see how to do that. No, I'm not sure. Okay, so probably I'm going to have to think about something else. But what? 2 is in one of those squares. That feels slightly desperate. That feels an absolutely desperate way to think about this. Well, okay. I don't know where to do. I don't know what I'm meant to be looking at here. Is it? Have I used up all the cage totals? I haven't used that cage. What do we say those 3 squares added up to? 13. Ah, wow. Okay, that is useful. This can't be a 1. Because if it is a 1, these have to add up to 12. And they couldn't be 5, 7, 3, 9, and they couldn't be 4, 8, because there's a 4 in the box, which I saw by seeing there were 4s there. So that can't be a 1. So this, I think, is a 1. Okay, that's doing some things. These squares now add up to 15 without using 9, so that's a 7, 8 pair. And these squares are 2, 5, and 6. Oh, that's 5. That's good. 5, 2, 6. I'm not clearing fog, but I think that's because we've sort of... Look, there's a 7, 8, 9 triple in this column, so that's 5, that's 9. Okay, that's something, isn't it? So has that really helped us? 5 is in one of these 2 cells in box 1 by Sudoku of all things. One of these is a blue digit, because this is a 7, 8 pair, so blue is in one of those 2 squares. Nah, I don't think that's helping. Okay, what we could do is label these squares though. Yeah, one of these has to be a 2. So the 2 is in the corner. Oh no, there's nothing to find up there. So these are 5 and 6. Right, that's good. That has done something. Because if this is a 5, 6 pair, we can look at where 6 goes in column 1. Because it can't go there and it can't go here, so it goes there. That probably affects... That's a 6 now. Have we cleared all... No, we haven't cleared all the fog. Don't be silly, Simon. These are 4, 7, and 8 by Sudoku. Now, is that good? Might be. So getting a 6 in there, has that ruled out any of our options that we were thinking about before? I don't think it has. Because there was 2 was missing, and then 4 and 8 would be missing. That was one possibility I was thinking about. Oh, actually, that's interesting. Yeah, that's blue. Because blue now is not there. So blue is in one of those 2 squares, actually. In box 7. So blue must be in one of these squares, and it must be that top one. which means that is not a 4 because it's definitely blue, which is 7 or 8. Okay. Oh, right, that's a 2 by Sudoku. I'm now seeing that for the first time. So what are the other digits? I need 4, 6, 7 and 8. So that digit is a 4. And oh, where's 6 in this column? It has to go there. That's a tiny point, but might have to colour 7s and 8s against one another. I'm not sure. There's definitely a 6 exactly there by Sudoku. So this is 4, 7 or 8 as well. 4 is definitely in one of these squares. 4 is definitely in one of these squares. It's, I'm not sure. It's probably... It is probably this 31 cage, isn't it? And what could be missing from it. That's the only thing we haven't really dealt with. Just let me think about this for a moment. As I appear to have had to do with this puzzle many times already. Oh, 3. That 3 is useful. I can do some Sudoku. 3, 6, 6, 5. 5 is there now. Oh, that's useless though. Well, 5, yeah, but 5 is not the blue digit. So that puts blue inside the 31 cage. It's still not good enough. I still don't know. That might be blue, but I don't know it's blue. But I have got a 7-8 pair now in this box, which means these squares are 4 and 9, and that means, well, in this column, that's a 7 or an 8. And if that's true, not only is that 9, but that seems to have to be 4. It's not clearing any fog, which is slightly worrying. This is now 4. This is now 4. Yeah, we're going to be left with 7, 8 pairs all over the place. And this 31 cage is going to have to do magic now for us. Okay, so let's think about this again. What have we got here now? We've got 14's worth of digits, so these squares have to add up to 17 to get to our 31. So this can't possibly be a 4, it would be too small. So that's definitely a 9, that's definitely a 4, that's definitely a 4, that's correct, so that's something. These two squares have to add up to 8, so that's a 7. So that purple is a 7, and this is a 1. 1, 1, 2, 2. And purple is a 7 wherever it happens, which is in a lot of places. So let's fill all of those in with 7. All of these in with 8. And that one actually. And that one. 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 Oh, I don't know if that's working up there. That is a wonderful puzzle. Let's see. Yes. That's brilliant. Look how many people have had a go at that. 600 people. Good grief. Well, I mean, that is an example of how a constructor has just outfoxed a solver. Because this was a very clever digit. It was very obvious once I asked the right question. But I couldn't see it. And so it wasn't obvious. But the geometry of this stuff was really cool as well. The fact that had to be, was it a 1-2 pair I finally figured out. And then the aardvark played its part as well. That 5 was a clever digit. The whole thing is really interesting. Unexpected Places is a great name for this puzzle. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind and they don't give me too hard a time. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I used to pray toward the wordless stars. Now I am old, I hear nothing but answers. They wail in my lungs, pull my blood,
they shake the ground. I listen to the smallest of moons, whispering of frailty beneath my skin. In still moments my creaking bones are loud as falling trees, and heavier. I will sleep under fallen trees, my bones will carry moss. Gratitude to the unnoticed, the overlooked, to the sudden rush of breath, to the way my shadow moves. Now I am old, I feel moments as layers of dust. My mouth holds ash, my ears fill with the sound of shifting leaves. I sleep under fallen trees, and roots grow through me. They let out the whispering moon. I sleep, I remember nothing. I become stars.